Okay, I just tagged Peregrine.
Okay, we're live here. We're live broadcasting. We're posting. We're tagging all the things. Welcome to the final Adventures of Business live episode of 2025. What a year.
What a year.
What are your plans for the holiday? What do we have to look forward to?
Well, I'm currently sitting in an office that has boxes head to toe all around because we just moved back into our house after that long renovation. The rest of the house is almost unpacked, but I figured I would get my office together when I got back from holiday. So first things first, I will get my office together in January. But I'm gonna grind all week, and then my husband and I leave for Paris on Thursday night, and we're gonna go to Paris for Christmas. We were supposed to go for my 50th birthday earlier this year, but the renovation just waylaid us, so we had to cancel it. And I don't know. We moved it to Christmas in Paris, which I don't think is that bad of a backup plan.
I do not think that's a bad backup plan at all. So
Yeah,
can't wait to hear about the trip.
yeah.
All the things.
I just did my last work trip of the year. I went to Site SoCal, which was amazing. It was at La Quinta. They did an amazing job. It was beautiful and festive and fun, and all this money was raised for charity. And it's good to be with your friends and your clients who you're just in this kind of war together all year, where misery loves company, happiness loves company. We're in it together. So it was just good to celebrate.
Okay.
And then I did my very last sales coaching session this morning at 11 a.m. So yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of lasts this week before the year wraps up.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good for
What about you? How's your grading? How's the papers? What's happening in your world?
Yeah. So last week, I went to the LV, Las Vegas Hospitality Association holiday event. That was really nice. It was at the Fountain Blue at
Nice.
I forget the name of the nightclub there. So it was a nice space. Good to see people. So that was fun. I had one of my final DJ gigs at the Lounge in Durango Casino on Saturday. And then, yes, one more week of class. So this is final exam week. So 3 exams and 1 project that I get to grade. And then I think I'm set up pretty nicely to finish at least as stress-free as possible. So I did a really good job this semester. So yeah.
Nice. How will you rest? I want to ask our guest this too when he comes on. How will you rest? Like, I know we don't have much downtime, but like, how will you downtime yourself or rest yourself?
Sleep in if possible. It's hard nowadays getting up going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. But but that also do that. Probably just sleep, just kind of not do much. Try to go to bed early. That's all I have planned. I need to figure out. I don't know if it's a spa day or something. I want to try to add that in too.
Do a spa day. That sounds nice. You deserve that. Or a hike. Just do a nice hike and lay on a rock or something.
Yeah, I prefer the
beautiful
spa
red
day to the
rocks.
hike. So yes, I see what
Do them both. Do them both.
Okay.
Well, speaking of hikes, I want to introduce our guest who actually just did a big hike, and I'll ask him about that at some point. But we have a friend of the podcast who has been on the show once before, under a different identity. And so
Oh,
he's got a new company name now, same company, different brand. And we'll get into that. It'll be very interesting to hear. He's still a leader, an executive leader in our hospitality industry. He's a dad, he's a husband, he's a friend of the pod. He's the senior vice president of global sales strategy for Peregrine Hospitality. Welcome back to the show, Chris
yeah,
Riccardi.
yeah. So another round of applause there for Chris. He's on our screens.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Amani. I'm delighted to be back. It's great to see you too. And thank
Yes.
you for, I'm glad I could jump on as the last one of the year.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
You're
Well,
our grand finale.
yes, we have plenty of questions. I'm going to let Mandy start off because we've got a lot of things to talk about. So where should we begin, Mandy?
Well, I want to begin, Chris, if it's okay with you. The last time you were on the show, it was with KSL, and now it's Peregrine. And I know the brand has changed. I know the company went through, a lot of work to change, the brand and the identity and everything. So we just share what that change was and what is Peregrine Hospitality.
Absolutely. So we've gone through a rebranding. Basically, Peregrine Hospitality was publicly launched in January of this year, and it's really an expansion of our business beyond resorts. It now includes hotels and resorts in 3 different categories. So we have resorts, we have luxury boutique, as well as we have select service hotels. And so we've basically brought several groups together, and now we have over 90 hotels throughout the world. 2,000 rooms, 100 plus restaurants, 500 holes of golf, 20 spas. So we've really expanded this year and just expanded our business throughout the country.
I love that. Obviously everybody always wants to expand, but what was the cause for the expansion at this time, like right at this moment?
Well, so it was KSL Resorts and then Mission Hill Hospitality, 2 sister companies, and basically we brought in Mission Hill and KSL Resorts together under Peregrine Hospitality, one new company business unit. And one of the biggest things is we own and operate all of our assets. So some of those assets in the past were not being operated by our management company. So that was how the whole thing was born. I'm going to start, but ask you guys a question. Do you know what a peregrine is?
No, I was going to ask, where does the name come from? So go ahead, tell us.
It is a falcon.
I do, but I have an unfair advantage. But yeah, so
it's a falcon. It is the fastest bird in the world. Flies over 240 miles an hour. Wow. And so we thought, and it actually in Latin it means peregrinus, which means wanderer or traveler. So we thought that was a great connection to our business as well. And so Peregrine Hospitality operates like the falcon with precision, accuracy, and agility.
Now,
I love that.
if I could ask, what are some of the select service hotels that have been added to your kind of catalog? I'm curious about that.
Okay. So there's 33 of them throughout the country. We have like the AC Hotel in Clearwater, Florida. We have the Spring Hill Suites in Navarre Beach, Florida, which is a stunning resort over there in the Panhandle. We have the Oriat on the Kansas University campus, sits on a beautiful mountain. We have hotels in Killington and Steamboat, all in Myrtle Beach, all over the place.
Nice. Okay.
I want to go back. You just said something about you own and operate all your assets. I don't think guests traveling or meeting planners traveling to hotels know how important that is. So like, why should we as attendees or meeting planners, why should we care that all of your assets are owned and operated? I mean, I know, but like, why should the greater masses?
I mean, first to start in the meeting planner world, it means all decisions are done right here. You don't have to go through 17 different levels and go through a corporate office and the chains and the brands. When you own and operate, you can make the decision. So there's a whole lot more flexibility, creativity, speed to get answers as well. On the meeting planner side, every space is for sale. There's a price behind it. So we can do that and be that flexible, that creative, and do what we want. And I think the planners love working with us because one of our sayings is to be easy to do business with.
Yeah.
And I certainly think we are. And I believe, Mandy, you hopefully feel the same way.
I agree. I love knowing that like every space is for sale. Cause like how many times I know I've done this, my clients do this. Like you go to a hotel and you're like, God, wouldn't it be awesome if we could just do this here? And so many hotels have rules. You can't do this, you can't do
Yeah.
this. But I totally know when I'm coming to one of your hotels, be like, have you ever considered like doing something like this here? And you guys are like, we haven't, but we will. I love that feeling of creativity, like with a partner like that.
The answer is yes. What's the question?
We like that. We like that.
Yeah.
With the year we've been through, 2025, with relates to the hotel hospitality industry, what have been 3 lessons? What have you learned this year that you didn't know before?
I think, well, there was a lot of things that happened this year, and I think the government shutdown, the tariffs all impacted all of our business. I think lessons learned moving into 2026 is we got to continue to be aggressive. And who knows where the market's going. It could be fantastic. We hope it is. We have growth in our budgets where I think a lot of hotels may be flat, but I think we need to continue to be aggressive. I think transient was soft in 2025, and who knows where it's going to go. Let's not spin the wheel. And we're going to build the base, that group base, as best as we can. And I tell the team and the sales leaders, if you're on the fence about a piece of business, perhaps maybe you should consider taking it. You got to look at things differently this year moving forward. The same laws and rules and don't apply. Get out of the box.
Love it. Love it. Yes, that's music to a salesperson's ears. If you're on the fence, take the business. We love that. Raise the space. Yes. When you're looking ahead to 2026, what's something that excites you?
In the Peregrine portfolio, we have so many renovations, restorations going on. I'm really excited about what we have going on in the Central Coast of California. We have 6 assets out there, and 4 of them are going through transitions. New rooms at our Avila Beach House in Avila Beach. We've just recently renovated our Paso Robles Inn, and now we're bringing in Charlie Palmer as our food and beverage partner. Wow. And so he's going to be doing, our steakhouse. We also have a bar called Cattleman's that Charlie Palmer will be partnering with us in. And we also have an incredible rooftop on top of our hotel, the Piccolo, right there on the Paso Square. So those are just a few of the renovations. I'm sitting at Silverado in Napa right now, and those renovations have continued. I'm in one of the new rooms. They've all come out beautiful, all consistent throughout this property. We have, new function space coming, new restaurants as well. We're starting on our grill concept, which will be opening up at the end of Q1. So just so many cool things going on. And I could tell that story all the way across the country.
Yeah, I want to build on that too, because I think sometimes people might think you just have properties in California, but like I want to talk about the Outriggers in Hawaii, and you have a property in Scotland, and then you work with Under Canvas, which I just learned about too. So can you just expand on those 3? Because those were 3 surprises that I've literally been sourcing. I just sourced literally almost every Under Canvas you have last week. So I would share that with everybody.
Okay. So we have a long-standing partnership with KSL Capital Partners. And, so at Peregrine, we either operate or even asset manage some of the assets for our partner KSL Capital as well. And so Outrigger Hotels and Resorts is a KSL Capital asset. Our GSOs sell that. And so we have Outrigger in our portfolio, which goes from Hawaii on west, Fiji, Maldives, Mauritius, and Thailand. And there has been incredible changes over the last year and continuing at Outrigger. I'll talk about our Outrigger Kona, which we're just finishing up our major transformation, and we're going to be putting a Duke's restaurant in there as well, which will be opening in the summer, going through, the infamous Outrigger Waikiki Beach Resort right there on the 50-yard line of Waikiki, where the Duke sits in Waikiki. That's going to be going through a major rooms renovation, public space. So many changes there. So yes, we have Outrigger in our portfolio. We have Under Canvas, which is also through our longstanding partnership with KSL Capital Assets. Our GSOs sell them, and we help bring them group business. We have the Cameron House in Scotland, which is absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh. I had the pleasure to go there with my daughter, and they have float planes, Segway tours around the resort. I mean, it's if you fly into Edinburgh and Bergen, just it's about a half hour away, and you has an amazing sense of place.
How are you making decisions on what properties to take over? And takeover is probably the wrong word, but like there's Scotland, there's Hawaii, there's like what goes into that decision making, or is it maybe the opportunities present themselves to you more likely?
So I think there's kind of I'm not sure which way you're going. If it's to be a part of our global sales portfolio, they need to be a part of a KSL Capital asset. And then they come to me and they ask for global sales assistance. And then on the acquisition side, if you're asking what we're purchasing and all that, we have a team of four unbelievable people that, 5 days a week are out there trying to find and buy in new assets. And we've recently picked up several fantastic hotels. We just purchased the Westin in Hilton Head. We expanded our portfolio with the Tess in Atlanta in Buckhead. I mean, it's a really amazing place, Southern charm, modern sophistication. And we've done something kind of fun. Our marketing team has created a story behind that. Like, and Tess, we've said it's a woman. She's like a figure who's, a Southern belle who's worldly, travels all the time, loves art, but also loves to entertain and connect. And so that's kind of what we've themed the hotel around, and basically it's like the perfect balance of comfort, culture, and connectivity.
Ooh, Tess. I'll be in Atlanta in February. I'm going to check it out. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And if you are there in Buckhead, you also got to go to the rooftop bar called Tesserae, and the views are unbelievable. The cuisine is fantastic and the service is a 10. But just the setting is stunning.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. What, in terms of markets, in domestic markets, which ones have performed, in your opinion, and based on what you've seen, have performed stronger than others? Which markets kind of you think could be really set for like a nice liftoff coming up? I'm so curious.
Oh, Monty, I mean, it's like the markets have gone up and down. We have hotels in the Central Coast, which had a banner year, and then the year that they're up, Napa was down, but now Napa's on the rise. I mean, we have hotels in a lot of the major cities. San Diego, and we believe that San Diego is going to kind of have a good 2026, bounce back a little bit. 2025 was rough due to some government slowdown and some citywides not picking up. I think we're expecting great things in San Diego, great things we have the Fairmont Grand Del Mar that we own down in Del Mar, California. We've got nice budget lift there as well. So I mean, we're excited about 2026, and I think I think where we have our city hotels and resorts, I think we're poised to do well.
Okay, good. Always curious about the markets. And then like, how have you seen your sales team? Because we're like salespeople through and through. How have you seen them evolve over the past year and really start to step out, even with some of the barriers they've seen this year?
They've definitely evolved. That's a great question. I think they have to think differently. They've got to get outside the box. And I was talking about earlier, if you're on the fence, maybe we're not sure if we should take this, you better present it. You better talk about it, because there's a high probability we should. So right. I think you've got to think differently, and you've got to look under different rocks and in different markets. Perhaps you weren't chasing whatever Smurf. Maybe you need to go into there, or maybe a certain segment of tech. We know that some tech is down, but AI related companies are up. So you've got to really investigate that. And we're really trying to challenge our team to, find new markets. They have their solicitation goals, and they're held accountable for that. And so we're trying to get them to constantly find new business.
I want to hang here with the sales people for a minute, because I know how hard it is to recruit and retain top talent. It's equally as hard to motivate, keep sales people happy, keep them growing. And you're so creative with how you motivate your people. What are some things you're doing to keep your sales teams motivated, happy, and growing?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things I like to say is you've got to re-recruit your own team. People are always out there trying to find new. First of all, re-recruit your own team. If you've got great talent, you better make sure you figure out ways to keep them. So, it is the basic rule, treat people the way you want to be treated, but that you can go another level and the platinum will treat them the way that they want to be treated. And I think you need to understand what makes your salespeople tick. And that will really help you retain them, and there's a group of ladies on one of the teams and they love shoes and stuff. And so, you know what? Okay, if we hit this special stretch target, everybody gets a pair of Louboutin shoes.
Yeah.
The red
Louboutin
bottom.
shoes.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to buy them from themselves, but you know what? Every time they wear those shoes, they're going to go, wow, I got these from Peregrine.
Yeah.
And so that, we try to do very creative things like that. So we have very creative incentives at like almost every one of our hotels, stretch goals. And, here's something fun that we did for one of the teams. We threw $15,000 in a pot and there was 4 people on that team. If they hit both of these metrics, that team split the $15,000. But if only one person hit those metrics, both of the metrics, they get to take it all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it could be, it all depends. So we're really trying to push people, but you got to understand what makes them tick. Someone else may be, they might just want that public recognition. Some people are maybe a little bit more like you want to be groomed and moving to the next level. So I think that's really critical.
How is this information coming to you? Like, are you asking them, hey, what makes you tick? Or are they just like, hey, we know Chris is the leader that's going to, is going to motivate us. So we're just going to tell him, like, how are you discovering what makes them tick? What's that process, that discovery process?
All the directors of sales and marketing have a dotted line to me. And so, a lot of times when they want to do an extra approval, for an incentive kicker, we call them, we'll chat about it and strategize. And they're the ones that generally know, and that's how I know now, talking to all these different leaders that, this sales team, this group of ladies love the high-end shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fun. We tried to do a neat incentive and we were going to do something else, some luxury items. And I had one lady pull me aside and she's like, Chris, I have 3 little kids. I'll take the $1,000 gift card to Target, please.
Right.
Yeah, we love that one. Well,
but you know what? Now we know.
Yeah, now you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And good for her for feeling comfortable. Like, your team has established that comfort level that she feels comfortable speaking up and saying something. Like, that's half the battle, right? Like, how many times are salespeople not telling you what they need? That's a good culture you're building.
And I think something else that we're really trying to do is we're trying to build well-rounded players, well-rounded leaders. We want them to be commercially sound. So that means sales, marketing, and revenue. And so we encourage them to learn other disciplines. If you're a salesperson, leverage HSMAI and maybe get their digital marketing certificate or their revenue strategy certificate, and vice versa. If you're a revenue strategist, we encourage you to get your certified hospitality sales leader. And also internally, we have sessions where you can go and learn about some of these other disciplines. So that's one of the things we're doing. And I think that really, I believe in lifelong learning, and I think a lot of our people do as well. And so the more we can make them smarter and they're constantly learning, I think that also is retention.
Yeah, we like that. So before Manny asks her next question, Jennifer Travin, I got to say this right. Let me think here. Travinical, hope I said that right. Let me know. She says she wants to sign up for that $15,000 incentive. So she put that in the chat there. So we'll see what happened with that. What's the status?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. They were some stretch goals and they came very close, but the team didn't win, Okay. Yeah. I would have loved to. We'll pay it out all day because we figured out the ROI. We'll give them the $15,000 because that stretch goal was going to bring us 10x.
Yeah. Okay. Mandy, what you have for us next?
Well, I just remind everybody watching, drop questions for Chris in the chat. It is so rare we can get a great leader like this on who will answer boldly and honestly. So pop your questions in the chat for Chris. Any question you want. I want to stick here with leadership because when I think of you and your leadership style, I know not only do you push your teams, but you also lead by example and that you push yourself. So I want to talk about milestone goals. I think it was last year you took a bucket list hiking trip with your son. So can you just tell us a little bit about that? And I want to build on that a little bit about just pushing yourself with some of these things too.
Absolutely. So, yes, last year, my son and I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. So
Wow.
19,300 feet. It's in Tanzania. It's one of the 7 summits. It's the highest peak in Africa. So we did a trek, and it was just the 2 of us and our guides and some other Sherpas helping us along. It was 6 days up and 2 days down. It was the most unbelievable experience. We went through so many different climate zones, and I think we started at 8,000 feet and climbed all the way to 19,300. But what made it so special was doing it with my son for 8 long days, just the 2 of us in the tent, and helped us grow closer, and also to accomplish a bucket list item. I think that everybody should set long-term goals, and whatever that may be. And, we all have short-term, but think long-term. As a young individual, I said, I want to get to all 50 states, and I want to get to 7 continents. And I'm pretty darn close. I'm missing North Dakota and Antarctica. So I've got one state and 1 continent to go. And so those are my next bucket list items. But, if you don't set long-term goals, I think you're missing out.
Yeah. Was there a moment on the hike where you were like, I cannot push myself anymore? And if so, what helped you get over that hump?
I don't think there was any moment like that, but there was one day where you had to climb. It was almost like bouldering, and you had to get out on a rock and kind of get around, and there's like a 1,000-foot drop. And my son videoed it, and I can hear him giggling as I'm going around this rock, laughing and going like, oh my God. So because we could see that face that we had to climb the day before, and where we camped out. And I just told my son, I said, here's what we need to do. Just think about us playing in a playground. That's what we're going to do. We're scrambling around. We're playing in a playground. For a couple hours, but bouldering and climbing and stuff like that. So that was probably the sketchiest day. But on the final day, we left at midnight, walked 6+ hours uphill in the dark. And it was unbelievable. And then we got to the summit. We were the second group to summit that day. We got so lucky. No wind, crystal clear, no other groups on the peak, just my son and I. We got to stay for 20 minutes, and then they shoo you off. They don't want you up at that altitude for that long.
Yeah.
We made our way down. You feel good. If you can do something like that, you feel like you can accomplish anything.
Yeah. What did you learn about yourself on that trip?
I learned that, I'm resilient, and I can just keep pushing forward. And I learned that I raised a great son.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. What are some of your next milestone goals besides the Antarctica and the North Dakota? What's next?
Someday, on a personal level, I'd love to go to every national park.
Ooh, okay.
That's my other thing on my list.
That's a good one. Nice. Yeah. Now, we know we were talking about leadership. How would you define leadership, and what are some leaders that you admire currently? Or who are some leaders that you admire currently?
Well, I think one of the ways I explain leadership is it's people are following you not because of your title, because they don't want to let you down. And I think that's just critical. And you shouldn't have to use your title, and people can be leaders and lead their counterparts. So that's kind of the way I define leadership. And in our company, I think we have a lot of great leaders. Our whole, executive leadership team, and I get to work with a lot of smart people every single day. And the great thing about it is everybody treats each other with respect. They're always trying to help each other, lift each other up, and they're creative. And a lot of times we ask each other the why. Well, why are you doing it that way? Or why are we doing it that way? Just because we did it before that way doesn't mean that's the same why we should continue to do it that way. Mm-hmm. And I think leadership is getting 110% out of everybody. Yeah. Just finding a natural way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to view leadership as like a muscle. So if we view it as a muscle, what are you doing to continue to improve and strengthen your leadership muscle?
Well, as I talked about lifelong learning, I
Mhm.
read, I'm a part of HSMAI, their sales advisory board. And I get to learn and chat with some of the other great leaders in our industry. Um, and I also, while I was with that, currently still on that sales advisory board, we helped write the CHL, Certified Hospitality Sales Leader. And you learn a lot about yourself, more about the industry, and so on. So I think that really helps.
Yeah,
And I think, you know what, you can always, I say you can learn something every day.
I
I
agree.
agree.
Absolutely.
I want to, as we're talking about leaders, because I think you do a really good job at this, Chris, is inspiring young leaders. So, what advice do you have for young leaders? You interact with directors of sales and marketing all the time. They've got a dotted line to you. Anybody that wants to enhance their career, maybe become a director or do what you do, what advice do you have for young leaders?
So I'm actually, as a part of HSMAI, I'm also like a mentor on the Rising Leaders Council. So that I have little mentees, and so I've helped those guys out. I did that with University of Hawaii when I was with Outrigger as well, and share a lot of these tips with our own teams. Is I think try to become as well-rounded as you can, and that means many different things. Say you only work in the Vegas market. That's its own world in itself. You should go and learn the Florida market or the California market. Say you're only handling corporate. Maybe you need to learn association. You should learn SMERF. And we talked about earlier about building more commercially minded people. If you are an up and coming sales manager, make sure you're also learning about revenue strategy. You're also learning about marketing as well. So you've got to be a sponge and soak it up. And you can learn from your leaders, and I've learned from good leaders and bad leaders. I've had
Me
bad
too.
leaders in my career, and they've certainly helped me grow, because I know I will never do that, or I will never treat my team that way, or communicate, in this way. So I think you can learn from good and bad. So if you're currently under a bad leader, just try to make a spin and say, I'm learning how not to do things in the future.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think some of my
Mhm.
favorite like work lessons have been from having a couple bad bosses and just being
Yeah.
just like a mental note of like, I will never ever do that again. But
Yes.
like, how would you do it differently, right? Like that helps build your own confidence in your own voice too.
Well, some of the other advice that I give these rising leaders is, trust is really important. And if you don't think that your boss is helping you grow, or you can't trust them, perhaps it might be time to consider moving on.
Mhm.
Basically, it's like saying, don't stay in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got to look and,
Yeah.
jump out of the nest.
Yeah.
Yes. Time to go. So
Yeah.
this is your second time doing this, but it's time to flip the script. And what happens is that we allow you to both ask myself and Mandy any question you like. Nothing is off limits. So for round 2, who do you want to ask the question to first? And what is said question?
Amani. So you're a professor, right?
Correct. Yes.
What is one of the craziest exam answers that you've ever had?
Oh,
That's a
that's
great
a good
question.
question. That's a good question. Okay, it was my second year teaching. We were teaching entertainment money management, and oh my gosh, I forget the question, but the student recited the lyrics of a song to prove their question right. I think it was a Kanye lyric or something. It was something they quoted and put in their exam answer as part of their answer, and they got it right too, which was great. I'll never forget that. Oh, I think I got to remember her name. She was Alexandra, I think was her name. And so that was the craziest thing. They used a quote from a Kanye song as their answer, and they were right. That's the craziest one I can think of.
How
That's good.
clever.
All
How
right.
It's a great
clever.
question. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Mandy, you just completed a reno.
I did.
Are you happy with it?
Oh, it's beautiful. It looks so beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my question really is, you're off to Paris for the holidays.
Mhm.
What's the most important thing, or what do you want to do on your trip?
Ooh.
What's your top thing?
I mean, I have like activities I want to do, but really I just want to spend time with my husband, just being husband, wife, buddies. He's my buddy. You know, we have so much fun together. But there has been so much that has not been fun about this year because we had some personal family stuff happening and then we had the renovation. So it's been a stressful year. And my husband had, you know, he had some stuff at work happen. Like it's just been stressful all year. So I'm just excited to be away with him. You know, we have our little rituals in the morning. He wakes up and goes for a walk. I wake up and work out. I go to a coffee shop and I write and I eavesdrop and like I write whatever the strangers are saying. So like I like getting back to these types of things that we do to get, you know, we have our own little thing. And I just like roaming through the earth with him, like wherever we're at. And I'm just excited to do that and not talk about the house, not talk about work, not talk about anything, but you know, being together. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Fantastic. That sounds like
Yeah.
it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a great trip.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good trip. We're excited.
I think so too. Now you had mentioned, Chris, that you also you mentor young professionals. What is some of the most common advice that you find yourself consistently giving to young professionals that you're mentoring?
How to deal with a lot of times with their own leaders and how to handle a difficult situation. Or I had one lady, I was helping her, providing advice on how she could move up on her team. So that's probably the most common. Well, what do you think I should do in this situation? Or how could I advance in my career? And one of the other things that I like to tell them is, you know, you got to learn and you want to grow. And if there's not a seat at the table, pull up a chair.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
get in there, you know, get on that, whatever it may be. If it's a group that's working on a project or try to sit on an executive committee meeting, whatever it may be, but don't let them leave you out. Pull up a chair or invite yourself to the party.
Got it. Mandy, before I ask, well, since Chris has been with us before, I have to ask a different final question.
Okay.
So I'm going to go look at my list, think about that. But what else do you have for us before we kind of take this down the home stretch?
Well, I wanted to go back to the properties because I just thought of something that I think is super cool is that Peregrine owns the mountain for 3 of your properties. I think 3, correct me if I'm wrong. And I think that's really interesting because like you can own a hotel, you can own a piece of land, it can be really cool, but like you own a mountain for 3 of the properties. So like, why does this matter to you or as a company in the marketplace? Like elaborate on these properties and like, why does it matter to not just have the building? Like, why does it matter to have the environment or the things around it?
Probably the biggest thing, it's a great question. The biggest thing is we get to control the experience. So we do own the mountain. So it can, you know, we have a hotel there. We have skiing in the winter and tubing. And then in the summer we have, you know, mountain activities and zip lining and mountain coasters. But imagine having to deal with 17 different vendors, you know, and then you're going to get multiple different experiences. Everybody on the Peregrine team is trained the same way with our 4 keys, what it's called. And it's about warmth, personalization, awareness, and proactivity. And so we teach everybody across the whole, using a ski resort as an example, we teach them the same way. So, you know, if you go from the hotel to the ski experience or the ticket window or food and beverage, each time's not different. Hopefully they're all fantastic and we're getting better each and every day.
I think that I didn't realize the brand values extended to all these things. I mean, it makes sense that it does, but I think that's really important. I think as a consumer to know, okay, if I go to Deer Valley or I go to Tahoe or I go to Camelback in Pennsylvania, like how many times are you somewhere where the hotel is great, but the restaurant sucks, or the hotel is great, but the tourism pieces around are awful, and controlling the experience does matter because they are just speaking your same brand language. I hadn't thought about it in that way before. And it's going to make me probably ask some different questions of the hotel. Cause that happens to me a lot on a site inspection. I'll ask, is this restaurant owned or leased? And if it's leased, you know, who operates it and what are their philosophies? And a lot of times they're not in line with the actual hotel. And it adds a layer of complication for us. Not saying that every hotel that has a lease experience is a bad experience. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it's worth knowing the importance of the overall ownership management of it.
Whether it's golf or spa, when you're looking at a resort, It's important to know, but again, it goes back to the whole concept of being easy to do business with. And I think it makes us easy to do business with. If you're a meeting planner planning a group, we don't, our team member can book all of that. The mountain activities, the ski, the tubing, whatever it is. We don't have to call, like I said, 17 different vendors.
Right. Yeah, that happens a lot with golf resorts too, because I have like clients that love golf, and that's like we're asking about the aerification process, and sometimes the salesperson doesn't know, and then the golf people do, but the golf people will get back to you. And yeah, no, it does make a difference when it's all under one. Yeah.
Okay, I got my 3 final questions for you.
Okay.
You ready? All right. Chris, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Ooh.
From my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and I was a young salesperson, knocking on doors and calling on some executive level people. And she said, I just want to tell you one thing. Everybody puts their pants on the same way, one leg at a time. No, everybody's the same. No one's better than anybody else, one leg at a time. And I always will remember that, moving forward. I think that was fantastic advice from my mom.
Go, Mom.
All right.
Good advice.
The flip side is, what's the worst advice you've ever received?
The worst advice? Probably something in college. And yeah, we can do that. That might not have been a good idea.
Okay. Now, are you a baseball fan?
A little bit. I love college football and soccer.
Okay.
What's your baseball question?
What is there a team that you follow more so than others?
It would be the Angels.
Okay. So say you're at in Anaheim, and you're coming up to bat. You're coming up to bat right before Mike Trout.
Uh-huh.
What song is playing as you walk up to come to bat?
Oh, that's a tough one. I have had as a walk-up song before. I had like a Kid Rock song. Recently, I had a Cody Johnson song. We have walk-up songs for our one of the meetings that we do. It's a mentoring program for our own internal people, and then we each have a lot of. My Cody Johnson song was "Till You Can't."
That's great.
Okay, good. Those are my 3. Mandy, take us home.
Well, Chris, you had mentioned with your executive team, you talk about how we lift each other up and you celebrate each other. So how can we lift you up and celebrate you as we head into 2026?
I think we have a new brand, Peregrine Hospitality. And, I think we're still growing and getting to know people getting to know us out there. I think this alone is huge. You've created a lot of exposure for us. So I'm delighted to be, here live with Amani and Mandy. And thank you for, letting us talk about Peregrine and leadership and just frankly, the hospitality industry. So, but yeah, I appreciate it in that way. So we can end it on that, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'll continue to preach the good word of Peregrine and talk about all your great properties. And, from a support standpoint, however I can support you through our business, we always are here for you too. We love what you guys are doing. We think it's really cool.
You guys are fantastic. And I wish you I hope you have wonderful holidays.
Thank you.
Likewise. Same to you.
You too.
Round of applause for Chris Riccardi, his second appearance with us. There we go. All right, we're going to put you back in the green room. We'll see you momentarily. Back to the green room. Mandy, that is a wrap for our show. Any final thoughts for 2025 for you?
What a year. What a year. What a year. There were moments I didn't know if I was going to sink or swim, and I swam. So I think the final thoughts are, when you think you can't, you can. And when you think you don't have any more steam in you, you've got it. And just believe in yourself, and resilience. Resilience will come upon you, is what I think. Yeah. What about you? Any final thoughts for the year?
I mean, like you said, what a doozy of a year. Just an amazing year. Lots of things happen, lots of travel. Just, keep moving forward. Think big, because, I wasn't really sure about the USA Today bestseller list. I was kind of like, I didn't think it was possible, and it actually happened and much higher than I anticipated.
Yeah.
So just think big, because you just might make it. That's probably the biggest lesson that I learned this year.
You made it.
Yeah, we made it. Yes. So with that, we wish everyone watching and listening Have a safe holiday season, whatever you celebrate. We'll be back on January 5th, right?
Yeah,
January 5th.
Jenny Perrin Goldberg or Jenny Goldberg Perrin are. Listen, if you've got a New Year's resolution and you're wondering how to travel, be more healthy when travel, how to just live a healthier, more sustainable life, you are going to want to tune in because Jenny is an awesome health coach and she's going to kick us off for the year the right way, telling us how to do it.
Yeah, so we're excited to have Jenny return. I got my questions for you, Jenny. I'm ready. Make sure you rate, review, share the podcast with a friend, a colleague. Subscribe if you're watching or listening on YouTube, and we will see everyone in 2026. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.